So when we took office, we did a little bit of structural change. We looked at the operations of internal affairs, the organization that investigates complaints against the city. And we removed it from public safety. For years, it had been a part of our public safety, but what had ended up happening was we had a situation where police were investigating police. So we moved OMI under the law department so that it would become an independent organization that would still have oversight by the Department of Law. What we've seen happen over these past few years of working together with OMI, our law department, and our police bureau has been rather significant. In the past few years, we've seen a 50% decrease, 50% decrease in the number of lawsuits filed against the city. At that same time, we've also seen a 43% decrease in major complaints to OMI. How we've got there and where we need to go from there, we have both our solicitor and the manager of OMI to be able to talk a little bit about the numbers and what is behind them. Solicitor?
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank you for coming. I really appreciate the fact that you have taken an interest in looking at the successes of the city instead of all the problems that the city has. So I really appreciate you coming. Since we took office, or since Mayor Peduto took office in 2014, we've done a lot of, all the departments have done a lot major structural department changes. And I like to say that the law department have been really an integral part of those changes. First, I'd like to introduce, or not introduce, but at least to acknowledge the lawyers that came to here today. Everybody else is working, but those are some of our lawyers. Thank you for being here. Without you, obviously, we couldn't have held this press conference. The law department has three basic roles, not roles, but goals and objectives. First is to prevent lawsuits. Second is to mitigate damages in case a lawsuit is filed. And third, we enforce city codes, such as electric code violations, building code violations. Those are the three basic goals and objectives. We do other things, but those are the three basics. Our first is to, obviously, to prevent lawsuits. And the way we do it the major ways we do it is by, one, we render legal advice to the mayor's office, to city council, and to the departments, to all of the departments. Second, we do what is called Learn the Law program, which is we train city employees in areas of the law that renders risks to the city, such as employment law, federal and state civil rights violations, employment, civil rights, and ethics. We have done that, along with others. But those are the three major areas of law that the city is at risk. And third, we have enhanced communication with the department heads and city council. At city council, we have an attorney who's a liaison between city council and the law department. So if they were to ask us for legal advice for something, or ask us to help them draft an ordinance, we have this person who keeps track, Kelly Mystic, who keeps track of all of the requests that the city council has, and make sure that we deliver them on time. As far as the enhancement of communications with the different the different departments, we've done we have a legal team, and we have assigned a legal team to each department. That legal team has a municipal lawyer who is the lawyer that does all the municipal work, such as contracts, drafts contracts, or helps draft legislation, and renders legal advice. Part of that team is also an employment lawyer for each department. And then, of course, our litigators are part of that litigation, of that legal team. That legal team, at least the municipal lawyer, has a standing monthly meeting with each department head to talk to them about what their legal needs are in the department, what they need, what they want, how they can help in changing their departments to make their departments better. That's at least a standing meeting that is monthly. Now, usually, these attorneys are in constant contact with the department heads and the department because they have ongoing projects that they're working on. So that communication is still going. But at least once a month, the legal team gets, the municipal attorney gets together with the department's heads just to make sure that nothing is falling through the cracks. Then once a quarter, the entire legal team gets together with the department head again to make sure that nothing is falling through the cracks, or if they have any questions about anything, we're there to help. So I just want to give you a couple of slides of what we have done. Between 2012 and 2015, the differences. Assignments open. Assignments are, again, things such as when we're helping draft legislation or when we are rendering legal advice, that is categorized as assignments. From 2012 to 2015, we have had a 225% increase. That means that people are asking our advice a lot more than before. So, okay. Contracts reviewed, we have had a 25% increase from 2012, which means that the city has contracted out more, or at least that the law department is reviewing more contracts. Litigation filed, this is what the mayor alluded to. We have had a 50.5% decrease in litigation filed, cases filed in state and federal courts. That is 99 cases less than 2013. And if you know anything about how this works, usually it takes about 18 months to 2 years on an average case to go through the system. So right now, we are handling cases of 2013 that filed 2012, 2013, and some 2014. But that has been a substantial decrease in the number of litigation, which obviously is a mitigation of damages. Okay. And of course, this is a summary of the amounts paid. If you see from 2013 to 2014, there was a spike, and that is because that was a transition of city government. So a lot of cases that in 2013 that were not settled or tried were pushed over to 2014. But since then, we have had a decrease, a substantial decrease. Claims filed, these are claims that the claimant does not file a lawsuit, but they file a claim with us, such as a police officer is on a chase and they hit a car. That person, the owner of that car, files a claim with us. We do an investigation. We admit liability, and we file and we pay out the claim. There has been an 18% increase from 2013 and a 44% increase from 2012. The interesting thing about the claims filed was that when I came in 2014, it was take us 4 months to go through the claim, to review the claim and pay out the claim. Now the average is 30 days to 45 days, and sometimes, a lot of times before the 30 days. Of course, it's an average, so that's logical to think. So that's the good part about that. Go ahead. Potholes claims. As you can see, there was a spike in 2014. We paid out $34,000 for potholes. Remember that was a very cold year. 2015 was also a cold year, but because of the blitz, the pothole blitz, we only had to settle $11,000 worth. So that was something that the city did proactively that decreased the damages and decreased the amount that the city paid. The right to know. You guys really have inquiring minds. This is you and all the stuff that you want to know. So we have had a 95% increase in right to know claims from 2012, but only an 11.5 from 2013. So we're very, very busy in trying to give you what you wanna know. Property sold. 161% increase from 2013. So we're getting rid of a lot of the properties. Go ahead. Okay, I just want to talk to you a little bit about our lawyers in the law department, which they're very impressive. They have had experience. We have, I think, half or over half have more than 20 years of experience in the outside world as well as inside. They have been clerks to the Third Circuit, judicial law clerk to the PA, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. They have been Department of Justice attorneys. They have been law professors, federal and state prosecutors, and private attorneys. We have, and these are just some of the schools represented that they have gone to. Not all, because obviously we didn't have any room. We have Yale, Harvard, CMU, Barnard, Bryn Mawr, Mount Holyoke, Columbia, Brown, Howard, of course Pitt, Duquesne, University of Maryland, College of William and Mary, Villanova, Penn State, Ohio, and we even have one from the National University of Ireland. So these attorneys that you see that are sitting here and the other ones that are actually out there doing the city's business are very highly qualified and high caliber people who have dedicated their careers to be here and do the city's business, do your business to the best of their abilities. And we thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Solicitor, and good morning to all of you. And I ditto what the solicitor said. I thank you all for coming today so that we can show the work that we've done over the last 2 years. But I would like to begin with thanking the OMI staff, who's been very involved with making our organization a success. And I would also like to congratulate our clerk, Sally Harvey. She is celebrating 53 years in the city of Pittsburgh, and she is the oldest employee of the city of Pittsburgh. So we want to congratulate her. Congratulate her for the work that she's done. The success of any organization is due to the hard work and the dedication of its staff. And so today we want to highlight some of the major changes that we have accomplished over our 2 years and then go into our slides to show you where we have significantly decreased our the violations that are reported to OMI. The first thing is we moved the agency from the Strip District to the City County building. We increased our training for our staff, and that training included interview and interrogation techniques and also internal affairs. We appointed our operation manager, Aaron Bruni, is here today with us, who was also a graduate of the University of Pittsburgh Law Department, and she also became certified in internal affairs investigations. We increased our participation in community events, and we purchased tablets for investigators to access all of the forms while they were in the field during their background checks. So according to the table listed for the top 4 alleged police violations, those reported during years 2013 to 2015, OMI observed a significant decrease of 43% of the total number of alleged violations. And despite the decrease in the total amount of complaints for the top 4 alleged policy violations, that would be conduct unbecoming a member or employee and conduct toward the public, they still consistently make up approximately 72% of the total complaints with no marginal decrease, increase, or decrease. So when we talk about conduct unbecoming an employee, to read what the code describes as that charge, a member will conduct themselves at all times, whether they were off duty or on duty, in a manner that is not detrimental to the reputation or good name of the Bureau of Police. Conduct toward the public, in the performance of their duties, a Pittsburgh Bureau police officer shall be professional, polite, and refrain from inappropriate language. When requested, an officer will also give their name and their badge number in a courtesy manner. Our neglect of duty, an officer will be considered in neglect of duty when they create a situation that is detrimental to the operation of the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police. And use of force exceeds the level that an officer believes at the time of the incident that it was necessary to use that force. So you see in 2013, we have 337 cases, 300. Then we see a significant decrease in total number of cases reported to us at 191. 2015, conduct toward the public, starting with 2013 to 2015, we see, again, the total numbers for those years. We've had a significant spike in those numbers. And the alleged policy violation, here's another slide that just demonstrates the numbers that we gave to you. Now, these are the allegations that we receive for non-officers. We don't see a lot of non-officers, those violations being reported to our office, but we just wanted to give you a snapshot of what has been reported to us from 2013 to 2015. And our final dispositions, we've seen a significant decrease as well. And the sustained means that the evidence supports a finding that accountability standards have been violated. So we see 2013, 8.14%, all the way to 2015, 5.42%. Exonerated indicates that an accused employee followed all appropriate policies and procedures that apply to circumstances under investigation. And unfounded facts alleged by complainant are proven to not be true or accurate. So we also see it's in 2013, 65.42%. 2014, we saw a slight decrease, 62%. And then in 2015, 74.1%. Not resolved. Our investigators, that means that our investigators could not come up with a finding of sustained or unfounded. The complainant has told the investigator one set of facts. The police officer has also given a set of facts. And because we cannot determine what facts are truthful or not truthful, that's what we call, that goes in the not resolved category. So we see 17.9% in 13, and then in 2015, we see a slight decrease of 12.5%. So we will entertain any questions at this time.
No questions, great.
How did it account for the decrease in lawsuits being filed against the city?
Well, how I account for it, of course. I'm sorry. Well, I think those three things that I said about preventing lawsuits, as far as training employees, training managers and supervisors how to deal with employees, and teaching them how to do their disciplinary actions, so that we don't have any problems later. We've also done, and the chief of police obviously has also done a lot of training with the police, as you can see from these OMI records. That's one of the major issues that we have, and I attribute that to the chief of police and the training that's being done. So all it is education and training, right?
Why did the number of claims filed with your department go up?
Filed? Because people filed claims. No, I think it went up because I said in 2014 it was a cold, especially for potholes. It was a cold winter, and we had a lot of potholes. Just these are regular claims of people falling on potholes or people falling on sidewalks. But there's no really, I haven't done an analysis as to why that went up.
Your office advises counsel there were at least three piece of legislation last year that are being sued, the city's being sued over. What happened in those cases with the advice? It's all the same thing, you know, they violated the city charter, and courts ruled against the city in at least 2 of those cases. What happened with the, you know, was there? did
What
they
you're
take
asking
their
us-
advice?
I'm sorry. Well, I'm not going to comment because I don't want to violate the attorney-client privilege as to whether they ask advice or not. City council doesn't have to ask advice, but I'm not going to comment on whether they asked advice on those 3 particular ordinances.
Well, we're talking about complaints against police officers. There's one case in particular that's been going on for some time involving a former officer under Nate Harper's watch by the name of Tommy Montgomery Ford. Can you give me any update, given the fact that we the taxpayers continue to pay her for going on 3 years now?
Right.
I know she's filed a lawsuit against the city, but what is the status? Are we going to keep paying her on and on?
Well, obviously, you know that I cannot really comment on the specifics, but I can tell you that she's set for trial May 9th. I believe it's the 9th of May, but I know it's early May.
How often are third-party investigations being conducted in use of force allegations?
Third-party investigations, meaning,
An outside company
right.
checking in on the work of OMI?
If we have a high-profile case such as the Pride Fest, we will seek an outside contractor to assist us with our investigation in terms of looking at the investigation and just giving us an opinion. That's only happened on, I believe, 2 occasions. We have not done that recently, but we've done that at least twice in the past.
And those contractors are actually reviewing the OMI investigation, correct? They're not conducting their own investigation?
They're usually they're usually reviewing our work. And if the investigation would lead to a situation where they would think that they would need to conduct their own investigation, they are free to do that, but that has not happened. They are usually contracted to do the work, to review the work of OMI.
What are the 2 cases that you've contracted an outside company to do that?
The one was the Pride Fest, and let me see. Can I get back to you, because I can't think of the second one right now, but I know it was Pride Fest. But I will give you that information when it comes to me at a later time. Okay? Thank you.
Deborah, the overall stats you showed, that's all across all city government, including police, and then you broke that down.
Correct.
What do you attribute the decrease in complaints to?
I would say, well, when we start with the police department, I would say due to the leadership of Chief McClay, holding the officers responsible for the conduct. Discipline plays a role in that. And discipline can be anywhere from counseling to termination, but there's a lot in between counseling and termination. Oftentimes, the public would think that, the only thing to remedy a complaint would be termination, but I've seen some increase in, or decrease in officers now violating the policies because of the early intervention of the city of Pittsburgh through the chief of police and his command staff. And I also know that to be true as a former police officer myself, is that if a officer is having issues with misconduct, then getting that officer into your office early and telling them and teaching them that their behavior is inappropriate, that oftentimes that will save an officer's career, and also may become a person that may be a good supervisor in the future.
But complaints went up for non-officers, right?
Just slightly.
A little bit.
Yes.
Is there any reason for that?
I think that I really don't have an answer, but my thoughts would be that people are now coming to OMI and using our department as an investigative branch of the city government. And so now they know that there is someone that will listen to them and will take the appropriate action. So we've been very forthcoming in contacting departments and letting them know that if they feel that there is misconduct in their office, that they can come to us and we will do a thorough and fair investigation.
How many investigators do you have?
We have 16. We have,
Are they all police officers?
no, we have, not 16, we have 12. I'm sorry, we have 12. 6 are civilians, and 6 are with us by way of the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police.
So they're officers.
They're police officers, yes. 6 that are not civilians and 6 that are sworn police officers.
Following up on Bob's question, the number of complaints against public works employees tripled between 2014 and 2015, from 5 to 17. And I'm wondering if there are any common themes in those complaints or any reasons that that department in particular is seeing that increase in complaints.
Aren't most of the outside of police internal coming from city employees? They're not coming from the public.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only a few that are coming from the public, but the majority of those cases are as a result of internal complaints.
Whistleblowers.
Well, but we also, I have seen, and I don't know what happened before we were here, but I know that all the departments, we refer everything to OMI. Anybody has a complaint, go to OMI. So I think going to OMI is more of an option now than it was. I don't know. That may be a reason. I wasn't here before, so I don't know, but that may be a reason.
How does that work? I mean, is it an anonymous thing, or do you have to file, put your name down and say, I'm complaining against this person?
No,
Oh.
it's both. We do have a number of anonymous complaints that come to our office, and we investigate those like we would if the person was not anonymous.
Earlier this week, the police union attorney said that an officer was being held unlawfully on administrative leave because she had a case that charged a summary offense was filed against her in the fall. The case was dismissed, and she's still on administrative leave. They contend that she should be back on the job. Any comment on that case?
No, that's subject to a disciplinary action, which we're still reviewing. We're still going through it, so.
So it's still in the
Still in the works,
process,
yes.
because they said they were told of no reason that she should still, and she said they
No.
said it's a waste of tax dollars to keep her at home and not working.
Right, of course. She would say that. Or,
Mayor, while we're all here, has the city received any advisories or directives from state and/or federal governments with regard to, since what happened in Brussels?
Let me answer that second. Let me just end this press conference first. There's a reason you're seeing these numbers, and it's due to the leaders that are on either side of me. When we did a restructuring of City Hall, it wasn't just the offices that were moved or the restaffing that was created. It was the people that we brought in. A law enforcement official with 20 years experience, a master's degree in the ability to lead through integrity, a former federal prosecutor with the ability to be non-judgmental, but to put highest standards on ethics as much as on law, and then a police chief and a public safety director that for the first time in my time in City Hall that are giving out discipline on a fair and consistent basis. And I think when you see those elements brought together and you see a professional staff, many of whom had to work under different circumstances in the past and now have the opportunity to be in an environment where they can do their job fully for the people, you see these types of results. So we always will be here and answering the questions when something goes wrong. But when you see results of 50.5% and 43% reductions in the people, in the employees complaining, you have to take a moment to say good job. So to everyone in this room, thank you. Thanks for lifting the bar to a very, very high standard, one that we haven't seen in the city before, and probably cities around this country haven't seen in the wake of what's happening all throughout this country, and seeing every other city, seeing those numbers increase, not decrease. Good job. I had a meeting yesterday with the county executive. A lot of the initiatives that are being taken are on major transportation centers. Obviously, we work together on issues like the T in downtown, and they work separately on the airport, but just to offer any assistance that we could provide on any of their efforts. I have a meeting today with Chief McClay and Director Hisrich just to look at potentials of critical infrastructure. But we have not, or I have not, I should say, been given any direct word through federal officials, though I am sure Director Hisrich has been in touch with the FBI and others.
And as I imagine, the concern, what, as networks have talked about, these soft targets, places that may not ordinarily be as guarded as others.
Yep, I mean, we have, and through our Public Safety Department and our Emergency Response Division, we have areas that we look at on a consistent basis, and at any time that any alert would heighten that, there would be additional personnel. I can't answer directly for that as of this moment, but this afternoon I will have those answers. One of the things about hiring top professionals in all these different fields is you know that they're doing the job. I know that Director Hisrich has been in touch with anyone and everyone that he would need to be. I know that Chief McClay has the resources to provide for the backup. And my conversations with the county exec were just to let him know that we're here to help with any of the other critical infrastructure that might be part of the counties.
Does that make you rethink your thoughts on the refugees?
Not at all.